Welcome to the Chapter 3 Constitutional Design of Political Science Standard 9. In this chapter, we would learn about the constitutional design of South Africa and India. Constitutional design is all about constitution, but what is constitution? Well, there are some certain rules which every citizen, leader, state, in fact the whole nation has to follow. All these rules together is called constitution. As the supreme law of the country, the constitution determines the rights of the citizens as well as the power and duty of the government. But why do we really need a constitution? Is it really that important? Let us understand that with an example of South Africa. During the 17th and 18th century, traders from Europe travelled to South Africa and occupied it with armed force. Whites settled in South Africa and became local rulers. They started a new rule of apartheid system, a system of racial discrimination. Apartheid system divided people on the basis of their skin color. The native people of South Africa made up about 3/4 of the population and were called blacks. Europeans who were fair in color were known as whites. There were people of mixed races who were known as colored, which also included people who migrated from India. Together they were known as the non-whites. So the whites considered themselves as superiors and treated others as inferiors. Apartheid system was so harsh that it led to the segregation, means certain rights were not given to the non-whites. The white rulers treated all non-whites as inferiors. The non-whites did not have voting rights. The system was particularly oppressive for the blacks. They were forbidden from living in the white areas. They were not allowed to use facilities like transport, hospitals, libraries, schools, education, etc. They had separate churches and toilets. They were not allowed to make associations to certain protests. And we can also see that they could not work in white areas without any permit. Time passed by and people suffered a lot. The struggle against apartheid increased eventually. Since 1950, the blacks, colored and Indians fought against the apartheid system. They launched protest marches and strikes. The African National Congress, known as the ANC, was the umbrella organization that led the struggle against the policies of segregation. This included many workers, unions and communist parties. Now, many sensitive whites also joined the ANC to oppose apartheid and played a leading role in the struggle. Several countries denounced apartheid as unjust and racist, but the white racist government continued to rule by detaining, torturing and killing thousands of black and colored people. Eventually, with immense internal opposition and massive international pressure, the white government began to repeal the restrictions on political parties. Finally, on 26th April 1994, this resulted in making of one of the latest democracies of the world. The apartheid system came to an end. The apartheid government came to an end, giving way to the formation of a multi-party and a multi-racial government. We can just give a quick recapitulation of the events that had happened since 1912. In 1912, we can see the formation of the ANC was done. In 1950, the blacks, coloreds and Indians fought for their rights and against the apartheid system. In 1960, white South African government banned ANC, but Nelson Mandela and few other leaders continued to protest. As a result, in 1964, the government killed thousands of blacks and colored people. While Nelson Mandela and 7 other leaders were sent to prison, the protest continued with more power. Workers' unions, sensitive whites and communist parties also joined the ANC. As the protest and struggle increased, government realized that they could no longer rule through repression. After 28 years of imprisonment, Nelson Mandela walked out of the jail as a free man and a negotiation was held between both parties, and finally on 26th April 1994, a new flag of Republic of South Africa was unfurled. Now, we have seen that a new racial government, a multiracial government had been formed. Now, how is it possible that the blacks wouldn't take revenge of the past? Injustice done towards them by the whites? Yes, it was possible because a peaceful transaction happened as Nelson Mandela appealed the fellow blacks to forgive the whites. New South Africa was based on the equality, democratic values, social justice, and human rights. After 2 years of dialogue and discussion, both the parties sat together and came out with the world's one of the finest constitutions. The preamble of the constitution reads as follows: We, the people of South Africa, recognize the injustice of the past, honor those who suffered for justice and freedom in our land, respect those who have worked to build and develop our country, and believe that South Africa belongs to all who live in it, united in our diversity. When we go towards see the new formation of the new constitution and emergence of new democratic South Africa, we see that the blacks, they did not treat the whites in the same way. They were given an equal chance in administration. They declared the country a democratic. Both non-whites and whites came together to frame the constitution. Everybody was a part of the system irrespective of their past deeds. There was equality for all races, men and women, provided social justice for everyone. The constitution came up becoming one of the finest constitutions and inspiring the democrats of all around the world. The South Africans called themselves as Rainbow Nation because after apartheid ended, they accommodated people of all colors in their fold. Now, as I said, that making of this constitution, the multiracial constitution government, was not that easy. So, this constitution, the making of it was not as simple as it looks like. So, both the whites and the non-whites, they had their fears and wanted to keep themselves safe. Blacks wanted the majority to rule, one person, one vote, rights for the poor and the workers, whereas the whites wanted the majority rule would not be absolute, would not take away the property of white minority. So after a long negotiation of both the parties agreed to a compromise, but what was the guarantee that this trust will not be broken in future? So they wrote down some basic rules which everyone should follow, like how the rulers are to be chosen, what government can and cannot do, and what were the rights of the citizens. They also agreed that these rules will be supreme and no government will be able to ignore these. So this set of basic rules is called the Constitution. Example of South Africa tells us why we need a constitution. Now, if you are wondering that what does a constitution do, then remember that there are many countries and every country has a diverse group of people. Democratic or not, every country needs to have a constitution. A constitution does many things, like it generates trust and coordination between different kinds of people to live together. It tells how the government will be formed, who will be in power to take which decision, lays limit on the powers of the government, tells us the rights of the citizens, and expresses the hope of people about creating a good society. Now, all countries which have a constitution is not necessarily democratic, but all countries that are democratic will definitely have a constitution. We can also see that after the War of Independence, Americans gave themselves a constitution, and after the Revolution, French people approved a democratic constitution. In our next video, we will know about the India's constitution. India's constitution, which was also drawn up under very difficult circumstances. The country was born through partition. At least 10 lakh people were killed in the violence. You can see the map of India before the partition and after the partition. But before we end up with the video today, I would like to tell you that the first constitution ever was written 4,000 years ago in Babylonia. It was written by the king of Babylonia, King Hammurabi, and this was known as the Code of Hammurabi, and this constitution, which was written on a stone, is now kept in the Louvre Museum of France. That's all for today's video. See you in the next part.